Since I was a child, I always felt different than other kids. As I grew older, I used to think why I wasn't like any of the other kids in school or my friends. People used to say that I was special and no one else was quite like me. In some ways, it felt good to be different, but in many ways it was hard and I tried very hard to fit in. But at the same time, something in me wanted me to stand out. I had a really supporting family that always made me feel that being special was a good thing and that I was loved for the person I was and am. When I was a teenager, like everybody else, I used to ask myself a lot of questions. Why I was the person I was. Growing up, I was often angry at myself for not being able to do a lot of things that other people could. That always feel that I wasn't good enough. That school was so hard for me. That relationships weren't always so easy. And a lot of other things. People kept saying and have been saying all my life that things sometimes are hard and that it gets better. So I kept on looking at the world and people and tried my best to get forward. But it was a struggle. A struggle to feel completely satisfied with myself and to feel happy about life. I couldn't listen to what they said. I didn't feel happy and I always had the feeling that something wasn't really right. I was just special. I was different and I wanted to know why I felt that way. I went to many different psychologists and counselors where I got to hear a lot of things and I got diagnosed depression and tried my best to get better. But it didn't really help with all those talks, so I never stopped my search for what was wrong. Until one day when I found a text about ADHD PI and I felt something, a little feeling that I hadn't felt before, that this was me and this maybe could be the answer to a lot of my questions I asked myself my whole life. I told the support person I was going to every week that I always had a feeling that the diagnosis I got before maybe isn't right or enough, that I feel I maybe have something else or more. I was prepared that she would laugh at me and say that I was wrong, but instead she asked me what I thought I maybe would have. And I said ADHD PI, and she said that she also had thought about that. After that it took some time, but I finally had to come to do a whole lot of tests in different ways, and they had an interview with me and one with my parents. It was like sitting on needles to wait for the results of all the tests. In one way, I felt that this was right, but I also had read a lot of more about ADHD in many texts, and it says you're not good with planning things when you have ADHD PI, and that one of the things that I'm really good at in projects is planning and organizing. I always loved to plan and organize things since I was little. I have made a lot of lists for everything. My family used to joke about that I could make a list of everything. Then the day came. I sat there with the psychologist and I was scared to hell. And then he said it, that I have ADHD. And it was both so relieved that I haven't felt like this in my whole life. At the same time, I was really scared, and I felt dizzy thinking about how much this could change my life. For the first time in my life, I could truly respect myself for the person I am, and not feel bad about myself for not being able to be like everyone else. I could see a reason behind a lot of things in my life, and not feel so stupid and worthless that I've been feeling a lot in my life. I could love myself truly for the person I am. This changed my life a lot, because it set me on the road, the new road in life, the road to happiness, to self-love, acceptance, that I was special, but it was okay. To not get to know that you have ADHD early in life is really common, especially when it comes to girls. It's really common to instead get diagnosed with depression and a lot of other things, and to not see that the most important thing is that a person have ADHD and need help. I was usually not a problem for anybody else, since I didn't have so much of the hyperactivity, more than in my own head. But it was a big problem for myself, not letting me grow, acceptance and love myself. I feel that my story is important for not only me, that talking not only about ADHD but ADHPI, so more people can get diagnosed early in life and then not have to go through the things I had to get through, to be able to accept, love themselves early and more than I have. Because I'm on that road now. I would wish that a lot of people would be on that road a lot earlier in life. Listen to your inner feelings. Love yourself because you're special and you're good enough just as you are. And if you feel the feeling I felt, maybe something isn't really right, that you're special, unique in some other way you can't really explain, but you can feel. Try to get help. Try to ask about those things that I did. And maybe you can also get on the right road, the road to happiness, to love and acceptance. That's all I wish for everyone.